The Plants vs. Zombies franchise does not have the hardest games. You may have played them as a kid, and even then, they were pretty easy to beat. So I decided to introduce a little challenge for myself when I saw that I could play the Plants vs. Zombies 3 beta. I'm going to let almost all my plants be randomized by a wheel, but first, let's lay down some ground rules, super fast and easy. Number 1 is my first slot always has to be a sunflower. This may go against the concept of a randomizer, so rule 3 will be a little bit more harsh. Number 2, I have to spin a wheel for each plant slot before the level. And number 3, I have to try a level at least 5 times before I can respin just one plant slot. Now that we have the rules out of the way, let's jump into it. So in this first level, I ended up with the iceberg lettuce, the umbrella leaf, the spikeweed, and the potato mine. And I actually thought that not having a pea shooter or a cabbage pult would make it super difficult, and I would have to respin for a new plant on the first level, but it was actually the opposite. I had a super easy time beating all of the low level enemies with the spikeweed, and then using the potato mines to wipe out whatever got through. And this ended up working out really well for me. I even stalled all these zombies with the iceberg lettuce, and I actually had the sawgrass unlocked and I didn't realize it, so that would have made this level so much easier if I realized it. You may have seen in the rules that there was no mention of leveling up plants, and that's because I haven't leveled up any of my plants yet. And I don't plan to, but if I get to the point where I have to level up my plants, I will. So I'm not making that a rule, but I am making that a goal for this playthrough. So in level 2, we actually got the cabbage pult and the potato mine. And the potato mine made this level really easy because it allowed us to spend most of our early game sun on sun production and getting double sunflowers. And that just allowed us to build a big defense for all the magma zombies showing up in this level, and just getting a ton of slaw slingers that would tear up the lanes. So my initial thought when starting this playthrough was that some levels might be a nightmare to get through because I would end up with a ton of defensive plants like potato mine and walnut, and not end up with anything more offensive like pea shooter. But this actually didn't end up being the case because the ability to fuse two plants together, like the sunflower and the potato mine, allows us to just have a lot more offensive capabilities with those more defensive plants. In level 3, we started with the pea shooter and the bok choy, and both of these plants make it super easy. I think we only used the pea shooter and its combinations in this level. The repeater made this level super easy, and creating the Gatling pea for the magma zombies allowed us to just destroy those lanes. So while I'm rolling for these plants, I just want to take a moment to ask y'all to like and subscribe. I know I'm a small channel, so I really appreciate any help that y'all can provide for me. And if you want to see any video ideas or anything like that, just leave a comment down below. Thank you. Of the first 5 levels, I think level 4 gave us the biggest issue. The cabbage pult is a great attacking unit, but we didn't have much of a defense besides that. The walnut is great at stalling, but I don't think I used it as well as I probably could have, and a lot of potato mines just did not get used as well as they probably could. We actually ended up losing this top lane, and we had to use the lawnmower on it, but besides that, we did a pretty good job of defending, and it went pretty well. The end of this level is just a great example as to why the potato mine combos are so good. Being able to fuse the 2 potato mines and skip the fuse timer is so great, and the Devastator being able to take out the magma zombies and making golden Yukons to take out stacks of just regular zombies is so nice. So in this level we ended up having the iceberg lettuce, the pea shooter, the cabbage pult, and the umbrella leaf. And the iceberg lettuce is one of my favorite defensive plants right now. It just allows us to get a lot of early game sun production going, and the stalling on these plants is great for just the magma zombies and the screen door zombies, and it allows us to get these big defenses going without too much of a problem from the zombies. So it's just a great plant to combo with all of your defensive plants like the pea shooter and the cabbage pulp. And that's not even to mention the fact that they can just freeze zombies in one lane, and you just get a ton of free damage on that lane. In level 6, we have the cabbage pulp, the iceberg lettuce, the spike weed, and the umbrella leaf. And just like in last level, we are going to use the iceberg lettuce to combo with the cabbage pulp and just get a ton of stalling and sun production going early on so that we can build up these massive defenses for later heavier rounds, like when there's a magma zombie showing up, and just get a ton of damage onto those without having to worry about any sneaky imps getting by. So it's a pretty great combo, and I highly recommend it for any early game level. Just use the cold slaw, it saves you so much effort and makes the levels so much easier, especially when there's flying units. In level 7, we got the potato mine, the spike weed, the bok choy, and the umbrella leaf. And this kind of made it a little bit more difficult as we didn't have any plants that could hit zombies from range, but that's all a part of the challenge and it made it a lot more fun. So we had to rely pretty heavily on the potato mine for the early game and the bok choy and the bong choy for the late game defense. The bok choy is pretty weak, but fusing it to make the bong choy gave a ton more damage. So we got pretty lucky being able to take out the later rounds, especially with how few bucket head zombies and cone head zombies there were. And the fact that there weren't any screen doors or magma zombies. So in this level, we got the iceberg lettuce, the umbrella leaf, the cabbage pulp, and the walnut. And I actually forgot to switch out my plants and I just hit play. I was so eager to get into the game and messed up. So that's actually what happened there. But once we got into the level, we had the cabbage pulp and the iceberg lettuce, and we were able to make the cold slaw. And y'all have heard me say over and over again how great this plant is, so I don't need to tell you one more time, you already know. It carried me all the way through this level, just having the stall ability was so good, and we were able to get some slaw slingers up and take out the lanes that had a lot of tough zombies, and it was just super easy to get through and we had no problems. We didn't even have to use our lawnmower at all. As we finish up this level, I just wanted to jump in here and say y'all should definitely download this game. It's so much fun and it's pretty easy to download. There's a ton of tutorials on YouTube and I'm sure PopCap would enjoy any feedback y'all give them, so highly recommend playing. In this level, we rolled and got the iceberg lettuce, the spike weed, the potato mine, and the umbrella leaf. And this is exactly what I was mentioning that we did not want. You could just tell by this first run through that I had no clue what I was going to do and had no game plan. And it didn't end up well. I ended up losing and that really sucked. So we ended up going back into the almanac and unlocking the ice weed. And this made this level so much easier. I think that as we go through the levels, we're just going to have to unlock plants that allow us to beat the levels. And that way we get through the levels, but we also unlock more opportunities to make new fusions in later levels. So this plant made it just so much easier. We slowed down so many more zombies and it allowed us to get a lot of sun production going. So we had even more spike weeds on top of what we already had. And I think that by the end of this round, we had almost over 20 spike weeds or ice weeds. and it just shredded every zombie. You see all the bowler zombies getting absolutely owned, and it's awesome. So for level 10, we had the cabbage pult, we had the umbrella leaf, the bok choy, and the spikeweed. And the first try I had on this level did not end so well. As you can see, we just got overwhelmed by the amount of zombies in different lanes, and I actually attempted to use the cabbage pole, and I probably would have been better off using the spikeweed. But this comes full circle from level 1. This time I actually did realize that I had the sawgrass unlocked, and that hits 3 different lanes, and it made it a lot easier to clean up the low health enemies like the imps and the normal zombies, and allow my cabbage pults and sloth slingers to focus on heavier zombies like the cone heads and the bucket heads and the screen door zombies, which could get past my sawgrasses. And that made this level so much easier. I wish I had saw that I had the sawgrass before I attempted this level the first try, but it all worked out fine. And in finishing this wave, that ends the first 10 levels of this challenge. I like to turn this into a series, but I can't do that without your support. So if you would leave me some feedback by liking and commenting, I would really appreciate it. I had a ton of fun doing this challenge, and I hope you had fun too. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.